Hello, everyone. This is Charles Proderici here, host of On Deck and the Masteel podcast. And I'd like to take this moment and share with you why I use Anchor.fm. Anchor makes it easy for podcast hosts looking to build their brands. Plus, what's even more unique is you don't need much expensive equipment to record and upload your shows. You'll not only be provided with your audience reach, but get this, you'll have the opportunities to be matched up with sponsors and make some money doing it. Sounds good, huh? Make sure to cash in on your career by simply going to Anchor.fm.
And good evening, everybody, and happy Sunday, and welcome back, sports fans, as slowly things are coming out of COVID-19 from the pandemic. Great stuff once again as we are here right now. You're listening and watching On Deck right now. Coming to you live from my Facebook page at On Deck CSR right now. I know it's been quite a while here, but we are getting ready to kick in some stuff right now. Been dealing with a lot of figuring out lately the last few months. Sorry about the way, but getting ready to talk some fun topics here. Starting off with MLB Upper Deck right now with the Cubs and Sox right now. Dare I say both teams have a chance to become buyers at the trade deadline when you look at it. And I gotta admit right now, this is pretty very impressive for the Cubs right now, who should have been long gone a long time ago. But right now, this is what we're looking at. And here we go. So then we're going to get into NBA Fast Break, the next segment. NBA playoffs right now, as we're keeping track right now over the Phoenix Suns right now, on the verge of sweeping the Denver Nuggets. 6 seconds left in that game. They will be advancing to the Western Conference Finals right now. Congratulations to CP3 and that crew right now, as they are doing a hell of a lot right now to keep everything in perspective. But I gotta tell you what right now, I mean, the Suns team has really been shocking a lot of people and really been doing a hell of a job right now. And when you take a look at everything that has been going on, I mean, you look at what they've been able to do here and how they've been able to do everything right here. I mean, you look at, first of all, I mean, with the Phoenix Suns, I mean, and their coach staff put together, you got Monty Williams right now. You got Tom Thibodeau, who just won Coach of the Year with the New York Knicks. But remember, Monty Williams right now, too, in his coaching career, him and CP3 did coach together at one point. And when you look at the career of Chris Paul, everything going on in this right here, Chris Paul, don't forget, he began his career back in 05-06 and was with the New Orleans Hornets at that time during Monty Williams' first year right now. And you look at everything they've been able to do together right now. Had a losing record as a coach, but when you look at everything too, and I know Nikola Jokic just got MVP, I would have given it to a guy like CP3. I really felt like he was more valuable to his team, but we'll hit that a little bit later on. Then NFL extra points right now. Justin Fields right now continuing to impress not only his coaches, but also getting in there with the teammates. I'll give you my thoughts on how he will most likely be the Bears' starting quarterback at the beginning of this year. I think it's safe to say over there, only time will tell. But I got to tell you what, he's definitely building a lot of momentum right now. Got some promising insight on the deep ball, hopefully starting to develop. We'll get into that a little bit more. You guys want to feel free and shout out your questions, you can definitely tweet me. You can definitely tweet me on Twitter at Project Richie. And then also, you can also follow me on Twitter as well, at MetaSteelCGR, where I am the host of the MetaSteel podcast. And you can also check me out on Instagram at MetaSteelNation, at Project Richie. So let's go ahead and get right to it, beginning right now. When we take a look at things, we got the very first right now with the Chicago Cubs and the White Sox. Cubs, believe it or not, they're in first place in their division right now. They have just completed a sweep over the St. Louis Cardinals this past weekend here at Wrigley Field right now. 2-0 the final score was here at Wrigley Field as we take a look at. And right now, Zach Davies, he qualifies for the win, as it looks like. He went 6 2/3 of an inning right now, only giving up 2 hits, striking out 6, only 2 walks, and that's been one of the biggest issues so far with the Cubs right now as we look at has been their rotation right now. And one of the things about their starting rotation for this year, when we look at it, I mean, they've been failing to go 5 innings this year, 9th with a 4.63 ERA. So far, I mean, when you look at everything aside from that, too, I mean, you look at like the current cap space, the luxury tax space they got right now, according to Spoke Track. They got about $32.42 million in cap space, which is 21st in the league, most available, while the White Sox are at $38.45 million. So they got some room to probably, hopefully, find some people, find some pieces by that time. Remember, the trade deadline will be by July 30th right now. Got a lot of waves happening with this team right now. And to be honest with you, it's just awesome to see like just both sides of baseball doing well right now, if you ask me. Because I'll be honest with you. Because when I look at the other side of town, I look at a situation, too, where there's been a little bit of a feeling out process with Tony La Russa. Some of the silly nonsense that's been going on, the way how he was critiquing his players, as far as like not swinging on a 3-0 count, only to hit a home run. I think the only most embarrassing thing that he has said this year, which I did not agree with, is, or not agree with, but I'm just very disappointed with, is how you're not aware, after coming back after over 10 years, not knowing the extra inning rule. And that was on a road trip at the end of April, I believe it was, or beginning of May, when they had that happen to them. And, I mean, since then, I mean, they seem to be clicking right now. I mean, Sox, for the most part, I mean, at this point in time, they have the 4.5 game lead over the Indians. I mean, I just really start to wonder if it would be a little bit different if they were losing. I mean, at the end of the day, the winning does cure all. But at the same time, too, I'm going to just say this to a lot of Sox fans who've been kind of picking at this guy. Don't ruin a beautiful thing with Tony La Russa. Don't run this guy out of town. He knows what he's doing. At the end of the day, he has to give tough love to this group. I realize it's a lot more different times he's been returning to. I mean, trying to relate to players and click. But, I mean, Steve Stone, even for the most part, too, on Twitter, made references, too, that he's been comparing his guys, Tim Anderson, to Yadi Molina, and then, of course, Jose Abreu to Albert Pujols. He's been making some few Cardinals references as we look at it. And to be honest with you, listen, I mean, La Russa, I mean, the only controversial thing about this time when he did return, he was supposed to stay retired, I mean, according to, like, the Baseball Hall of Fame. At the end of the day, too, I mean, La Russa, look, he's still very instinctive last time I checked. Very smart, very aware. But you gotta think of it this way, too. He's a guy who's going to command respect here. Obviously, you don't want to have turmoil in your clubhouse or players in front. But I think the most encouraging thing, especially with the White Sox, they still got their eyes on the prize. And I think that's where all gets lost in it. So what? I mean, the 77 New York Yankees, when they won back-to-back championships, they won the first one with Billy Martin, then did it with a different group. I mean, when you think about it. I mean, that other manager on there, he was a former White Sox skipper too, by the way, when we look at, I'm pulling up his name right now, who did it in 1978 when they went on to win back-to-back titles. Right now, it was Bob Lemon. I mean, Bob Lemon was a skipper for the White Sox during that same season where they were 34-40, went over to the Yankees, went 48-20, and were able to beat the Dodgers in 6 games. I mean, listen, I mean, Billy Martin, he was able to deliver a championship, his one and only championship as skipper to that Yankees organization. You had a lot of interesting situations too with Reggie Jackson on that team. I mean, you also had Thurman Munson right there, the catcher right there. He was a little bit of a character, but still, you had a lot of guys plenty on that team. What I'm trying to say in all this, you want to have a most unified ball club, an understanding of one another as individuals. I get all that. But sometimes, too, if you're able to keep your eyes on the prize and be able to keep the winning aspect at hand, who cares about this little silly nonsense with, well, you know what, I don't know if you should be like laying into me about not swinging on a 3-0 count, despite the fact that in LaRusso's eyes, it was wrong. At the end of the day, they are winning. The only thing is where I get a little concerned with this ball club right now is, like, don't get overconfident with what you're doing. I'm not saying that they are. But you still got to prove yourself right now. I mean, the 05 White Sox team, for the most part, they had a lot of good defense. I mean, that year. I mean, when you look at everything right now, too, I mean, as far as, like, what's going on right now, Chicago White Sox, I mean, they're second in the American League, second overall, and everybody with wins, with 40 wins for their pitching right now. ERA, for the most part, first in the American League, fourth overall, 3.21 ERA. And then another thing, too, I mean, let's look at the strikeouts right now, too. Number one in strikeouts with 638, first in the American League. And then also, too, I mean, when you look at another thing, too, I mean, like the White Sox have been able to do, when we try and flip on the other side of that, I mean, they're being very disciplined at the plate. I mean, when you look at it. I mean, kind of not really, excuse me. But I mean, they're fourth in RBIs, third in the American League with 300 runs batted in. So I say this, and to all the little naysayers about this little nonsense about players distancing themselves from La Russa or why he's laying into his guys so hard, I'm just going to say in the moral worlds of Al Davis, just win, baby. That's all you got to do. All this little stuff, this theatrical stuff, I think that will get settled in time. Like I said, I want to know from you, Sox fans, do you feel like this would be a much different situation if they were losing? And do you feel like La Russa will finish out his 2-year contract? Remember, he did make it as far as on the all-time wins list, second as far as a managerial record, as far as in wins. He passed John McGraw right now. He's got 2,768 wins right now. That's only second behind Connie Mack right now. So La Russa, at this point in time, he's got 2,768 wins, 2,389 losses, 537 win percent. So that, I say, Sox fans, put that in your pipe and stroke it. If you're still having any type of alarming beef with this guy, we'll find out. For the Chicago Cubs right now, like I said, I mean, I think definitely their pitching is going to be pivotal. But when you look at right now, Jed Hoyer right now, who's trying to take over the ship from Theo Epstein, who's no longer with the ball club. Theo Epstein, who right now, as we take a look at everything, he's working as a consultant. I really like to see how he's able to follow up from that, because at the end of the day, you look at the Cubs right now. I mean, they had some payroll questionable decisions right now the last couple of years, more particularly getting Craig Kimbrell. Will we really focus in on it? But at the end of the day, too, I mean, like the Chicago Cubs right now, I mean, for the most part, I mean, right now, I mean, saves. Right now, they are fourth in that category in saves. And for the guy who's getting those saves, it is Craig Kimbrell right now, who's got 17 for the year. Definitely doing his part. He's only had 2 blown saves, 17 out of 19 so far up to this point. That's all you can ask for right now. I mean, that was another guy right now a couple years ago which, by the way, when we look at it back in 2019 when he came on this opportunity, he was 13 of 16 save opportunities. And then he only had 2 saves last season. And I think that year his ERA definitely skyrocketed. He had 5.2 ERA. Now he's at .68. But remember, I mean, how many games that team played last year in that shortened season, only playing 60 games, but it was still enough to hang on and win the division. I feel like right now, the Cubs right now, they kind of got that Chicago Blackhawks feel as far as like in Chicago. As long as you still got guys like an Anthony Rizzo, a Jason Hayward. You got Chris Bryant right now. He's going to be the question mark right now. If they're able to maintain him going forward, since he could have been a free agent this season, they still got star power around. Know what it's like to make a playoff push and what it's done to get a championship. I think people will be sadly mistaken to bet against this group. Again, I'm not sure how much it's going to translate into a World Series push, but I definitely do feel like right now it's a team you don't bet against. And plus, another fact too, welcome back fans. I mean, Friday is when we saw the red tape of restrictions being lifted off. Fans being back in the stadiums. I mean, like a regular field, a full house. I mean, right now, according to Jed Hoyer, having small crowds earlier in the season never felt quite the same, according to team president Jed Hoyer, prior to his team's 8-5 win. I think it's pretty awesome to be here. Now, this is the beauty of the place. It'll really be loud all weekend with great weather. This is sort of symbolic of opening the city right now. Still tied in the division for first place with the Brewers, but I tell you what, listen, when you're in a COVID year and you're having that crowd pump noise from sound effects, it is a hell of a lot different right now. And what better way to kick off, I mean, that tradition right there with Bill Murray, who I think selling the 7th-inning stretch this weekend. I'm not sure which game it was exactly, but you look at everything that's been going on, and this definitely, right now, you see how much fans mean to this game and how an honor it is to be back and just seeing people just get back and support right now. Again, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at Proj Richie, as well as at MassSteelCGR. I'm the host of the Mass Steel podcast as well. We want to get more of your comments right here as we get ready to hit into the first break here. Only going to be doing 2-minute breaks for the show, but I want to hear how you guys are feeling right now. Going on right now, final thoughts right now. Cubs, I gotta definitely feel like they're being buyers at the trade line. Sox, we'll wait and see. I definitely want to see why not, but at the same time too, if you're gonna making a World Series push, you gotta do what you gotta do. I definitely do feel like for the Cubs right now, one thing is that they could find an available starting pitcher right now, and Yu Darvish, who's with the Padres, how much would that come back to haunt them in the end? I mean, you got Jake Arrieta back on this team. I mean, he's another one who seems like he's picking up where he left off. Still struggling to go past 6 innings usually. I mean, for the most part, this year he has pitched 57 2/3 of an inning. And still doing good with the strikeouts right now. Leading the starting pitching in strikeouts. 58 innings, 48 strikeouts. So, still pretty impressive for the time being here. 4th on that list. And we've seen this guy throughout this season here. Doing pretty well. This is definitely a welcome sight for sore eyes right now. But as we look at it, he's able to go 6 innings pitched this season 4 times. So again, what do you guys feel? Do you feel like the White Sox will stand pat? Or do you think they'll be buyers at the trade deadline? Cubs right now, with so much wiggle room, what do you think? Feel free to let me know your thoughts. We're going to go ahead and get ready to take this first break here of On Deck. Me, Charles, the Proj Richie. Don't move a muscle.